Okay, welcome everyone to Awakening Spiritual Intelligence. Today's topic is service, and Yosi will be our host today. So please take it away, Yosi.
Thank you, Pauline. Hi and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good week, good life, good evening. I think for some of us, and good God. That kidding aside, thank you for joining me today in our exploration of service. And before we proceed, let's take a moment and just type in the chat where you're plugging into the matrix or the grids of light from here. So we got all the way from Luxembourg in Europe, Edmonton, Canada, San Francisco Bay Area. So it's indeed those grids of light are swarming through and around our planet. So which is exciting. So one more thing. I know in previous sessions of Awakening SI, some people were reluctant to speak out loud because we're making these recordings available for free on the YouTube channel. And you may not want your face or privacy, seen anything you share privately. So to hopefully minimize this concern, from the recordings from now on, we'll simply keep the camera on myself and Pauline and the slides we share. And maybe people will be able to recognize your voice in the recording if they know you, but I think hopefully that's not a big risk. And if you care to, you can actually practice one of your accents, and that might be fun anyway. But if you want to see other people, hopefully right now, for example, try and see if you could view the gallery view, even though I am the speaker in the spotlight. Just let me know or let us know. Can you see the other participant?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Okay. So, so I'm glad we can at least see each other and clarify this thing so you can keep your privacy if you care to. And I hope this meeting will be of some positive service to you and all of us in awakening greater spiritual intelligence in the world, which will bring deeper meaning, love, and passionate engagement in our day-to-day activities, in our being, in our doings. So the theme is service, and service is a big word, particularly in spiritual service circles. But in fact, service is really implied consciously or unconsciously with everything we do. So I'm speaking now, and that is in service, or you might say in the aim of communicating, which itself is with my aim of supporting greater spiritual intelligence in our world. So whether I'm thinking about it or not, there's an implied aim in my action. Even the simple act of sipping water or tea is in service of keeping my body hydrated and healthy, which is one of my values. And all of that is to say that our actions are in service of what we value, be it consciously or unconsciously. And unfortunately, all too often, we are not intentional or conscious of what our actions are in service of and what important values we're acting in service of. So my intention is to help us all become more conscious of our values and of the things that are important to us and the things we love, so we can act in service of those values and the people, the causes, or the things we love. And when we act in service of that which we love, our love deepens. And we then live in alignment and integrity, and undivided, we feel more powerful and content. So, in fact, that feels great. And as Martin Luther King said, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. And when we do things in service of things we love, the act takes deeper meaning if we're aware that that's our motivation and we experience the love through the act. And we recognize we receive many gifts, including the gift of life, and we naturally want to share those gifts with those we love. So life then flows through us, and we feel generative and generous, and we feel we have a sense of integrity between what we value and we love and what our actions are. So let's look at one person's definition of service. What service is. Adyashanti is a contemporary spiritual teacher, is the willingness to put ourselves in position of giving, to be an embodiment of what we are dedicated to, and to put our life, time, attention, and energy into the most important things. So we could just take that in. And let me share a simple example. But before I do, let me ask you a simple question. Do you like doing your laundry? I don't usually like doing or folding laundry. I suspect most of us don't find it to be one of our favorite pastime activities. Yet still, I very fondly remember, and it has been a few years now, when my son was living with me part-time with a shared custody after separation from my ex-wife. And when we lived together, for better or worse, she was the one who did the kids' laundry. But when he was with me, he would go back and forth to his mom for a week after spending a week with me, and I would be doing his laundry. I remember folding it and making his bed, so when he came back, it was all clean and ready for him. And strangely enough, I used to derive pleasure and joy folding his laundry or doing it. He was gone. But in doing this, I felt my connection to him, touching and folding his clothes. And in doing the laundry, I felt and deepened my love. So point is, when we do an act of service for someone or something we love, our love deepens and our attachment grows, and we can find greater meaning and joy in it. So, and this is just one example. I think if you have a pet and you feed them, over time, your love grows. If you have a car and you love your car and you wash it and you take care of it, you feel like, okay, this is becoming more of my car. So, the heart follows the deed. Not only the deed follows the heart, and the two kind of act in a synergistic way, and it deepens. So let me give you another personal example. Right now, I'm hosting this event, and it takes a bit of work to prepare and host these, promote them, etc. And right now, I could be taking a walk on the beach or in the forest instead, and I could play some video game or listen to the news or whatever else. Or I could take on another client and, earn more money. But yet, I would rather be doing this. Why on earth? Because helping awaken greater spiritual intelligence on our planet is of great personal meaning and value to me. How successful or big an impact this has, I don't really know. But I'm called and compelled to do it. And I find it intrinsically rewarding. In doing this, I connect with my value, and simply connecting with my desire to awaken greater spiritual intelligence in myself and the world is enlivening, it's empowering, and it's inspiring to me. So I'm not telling you this to impress you how virtuous a person I am. Okay, maybe that's in there too, but But really, more importantly, the point is that when we align our actions with our deeply held values, we experience deep fulfillment and meaning. And that is a great reward in itself. And I assume and trust that you can all relate to that. And the point is that living in service to those and that which we love and in service of our higher values serves us. We experience greater meaning, fulfillment, alignment, aliveness, and passionate engagement with life. We are serving the greater web of life that we are a part of it. And there's joy in it as well. So to quote the Indian mystic Tagore, this is one of my favorite quotes, in fact. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. So just take a moment to take that in. We're always aspiring for more joy in our lives, and we dream of a life of joy. And then we have a moment of spiritual awakening, and when we have that, we kind of recognize that we're here to serve that one, the one that we are part of, instead of looking out for number one, which is our egoic self. Of course, we have to take care of our individual cell in this bigger web of life, but every cell has to act in service of the bigger life it is part of. And when we do that, I acted, and behold, service was joy. So I think this is kind of the journey we go through psychospiritually. That's why I find this powerful. And nearly all the participants in my research on spiritual intelligence described how their values and service and sense of purpose sprung from the simple desire to serve. They saw this impulse as a natural expression of being part of that interconnected whole. From that sense of connection, the desire to serve naturally emerges, and with it comes love, meaning, and purpose. And to quote another person, which I like, is by serving a cause greater than ourselves, we in fact become greater than ourselves. So the analogy I like to think of is that we're all each like a cell in this organ, which is our community, which is in this organism, which is humanity or the entire web of life. So each cell, of course, has to take care of its integrity. It has its cell membrane, and it has to be healthy and functioning, but it has to care for the organ and the organism. If the organism itself is sick, then the cell in the long run is going to be sick and wither away as well. So it is with us. And when we focus on this greater web of life, then we have a sense of belonging and a greater significance as well. And in my own research, this may all sound very nice theoretically, but with my research with CEOs and their staff, looking at the CEO, the leader's service orientation and score in the spiritual intelligence scale, those CEOs who score higher on the service dimension lead teams that are more committed and work harder, have higher morale, greater team spirit, and lower turnover than those who don't. So, in fact, I'd like to share with you a client story from my book relating to service that maybe will illustrate this point. So in this case, the client, his name is Meng, who was born and raised in China. At 18, he came to the US to study computer science in America. And after graduating and working for several startups, he started his own software company, which he built into a multi-million-dollar business with hundreds of employees after 10 years. And he did what many others, and even him, only dreamt of. And initially, Meng, for those 10 years, poured all his time and energy into the company. But over the last few years, he was starting to show interest in other pursuits. He was taking courses in advanced physics and personal voice lessons. And he was contemplating with me the next chapter, what he might do after he sells his company, which was its value was estimated at over 100 million, which would mean he would walk away with millions of dollars and he'd never have to work again. And it would be more money than he ever would imagine. So he's considering selling his company. At the same time, a new opportunity has come up to his business that could double the value of his company, but it would take 3 more years, and it would involve bringing a lot more users to his company, but it would double his net worth. And I asked him, what would it mean for him to double the value of the company and his net worth? And he said, not really very much in terms of my lifestyle. He doesn't need multiple homes, a private airplane, or any such things. It would be a great ego boost, but it's certainly not worth the extra time and effort. But then as he reflected on it, he said, but what would really be great would be the opportunity to double our user base and continue to grow our team. So his company is providing US government agencies with software platform to reach 3 million citizens in a prompt and friendly manner. And when he came from China, there the government services aren't really readily accessible. So helping people receive better service from government agencies was really meaningful to him. And so he realized he's getting a lot of satisfaction through the service. And in fact, a year so earlier, he sold some shares of his company already, and that enabled him to send $2,000 each month to an organization that feeds kids in Beijing. And every morning, he would get an email that shows the faces of some children who got fed. And that would bring a smile to his face and brighten his mood for the entire day. So when he's considering how expanding his company will enable him to contribute even more to philanthropic causes, and serving more of his client base, he realized that there has a lot of meaning for him. So he decides to then continue to do this because he got some resolution and clarity and direction, and he feels more energized then. So now the research says that, when Meng is opening his email these mornings with these photos of children that are being fed in China from the money he sends, not only is he feeling good, but as actually his health improves. Modern science and research says that it is in giving that we receive. And that was one of the lines in the Sir Francis prayer that Sarah McLaughlin was singing when we joined. And science shows that when we do that, actually, it lowers our blood pressure, reduces our stress, and improves our overall health. And research shows that volunteering is proven to be beneficial for our health. And in fact, even watching other people engaged in altruistic acts can boost our immune system, which I find pretty fascinating. So let me pause here, take a breath and a sip of tea in service of staying hydrated and energized. And but hopefully we'll soon get to an experiential, and I won't be doing all the talking. But one particularly interesting study is that I like to quote is that they had a group of people participate in a lottery, and half of the people won like $20 and the other half didn't. And then the people who won the $20 were divided again randomly in half. Some were told, go take that $20, and spend it on yourself, enjoy whatever you want. The other half we're told, go and spend that $20 to help somebody else. So the people who won the money, all of them, as you would expect, experienced some joy at winning the $20. But then they measured at the end of the day both the mood and well-being of the people who won money and the people who didn't win money, and looked at the two groups. The people who won the money that were told to spend it on themselves, there was no lasting effect for them from having won the $20. They were basically the same level as the people that didn't win the money. But the people who spend it on others had an sustained elevated mood from it. So I think that's very interesting. That is, in helping others, there's deeper meaning and satisfaction and fulfillment. And again, we have to take care of ourselves, obviously, in order to be able to do that. We have to take care of our instrument to play the music that we do. But as social animals, we're hardwired to care for each other, and our brain possesses what scientists call the mirror neurons that reflect other people's emotional state, and we could feel others' joy and pain. And that enables us to engender empathy and compassion. And the point is that even 10-month-old babies that are pre-verbal, have not been enculturated with ethics and morality, will express sympathy and care when they observe someone in distress. And even younger infants are drawn to look at videos in which people are expressing kindness. So the point of all of this is we didn't evolve through Darwinism, selfish genes. We're only, I mean, that might be part of it, but we're biologically inclined towards pro-social behavior in a virtuous cycle. And feeling happy and healthy increases our inclination to give to other, which makes us happy and healthy and generous. So Meng's choice to provide citizens with friendly software and fun meals for hungry children reflects his personal values, talents, and history. Another client of mine who had battled in a frightening disease dedicated herself to provide biotechnologies to help those suffering from similar medical conditions. So often our desire to serve arises from specific difficulties and the pain we endured. And it's natural to want to support others going through the same experience. So surveys of experts in psychology found that altruism and giving is among the top traits of people that are happy and doing well. Now, altruism, sounds like a big word. It's putting others in a priority, but that again does not require self-sacrifice. It just means that our actions are rooted in compassionate care for others, and they're also rooted in love. So now I'm talking about CEOs and starting companies and all of that. That just happens to be some of the population I work with. But as I mentioned, I was acts of service are doing the laundry, cooking a meal for someone we care, feeding our cat, taking care of the plants in our home, keeping our home clean so we can enjoy beauty because we appreciate and love our space. So, but underneath all of those is valuing those things and love. And love is the engine of service. And we may not be thinking about it in practicing love when we, take care of our plants or flowers at home. it is, in fact, if you connect with it and sense into the intention behind it, it is love in action. And the things don't have to be grand, they could be at any scale. So, as Mother Teresa says, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And we never know all the good that a simple smile can do. So let me pause here, see if there are any comments or questions for a few moments, and then I'm gonna do a guided meditation, and then we'll do a little exercise in breakout rooms. Comments, questions, shares, or is everything?
I'm so resonating with what you're saying.
What was that?
Oh, my voice is soft today. I'm so resonating with what you're saying.
Oh, okay, great.
And sometimes we're mirrors for each other, Yosi. Something came to me in the last couple of weeks, and I wrote it down, but I didn't need to because it was so simple. It was the first quote you just put up. But it came to me when I was out walking in nature and feeling this generous reciprocity with nature, just, loving the sunlight coming down, or a bird or a squirrel, whatever was there, communing. And it was, okay, come on, it's only a few words. What I receive, I give.
Yeah, well, in every
What I
breath.
get, wait.
Yeah.
And what I give, I live.
Yeah.
So this soft, it's almost a soft, tender feeling that comes from who knows where, inside here, when I'm not in the stress and tension of fill in the blank and just drop inside. It can be anything. It's so true. And in the Western world, and then the strange thing about waiting for the big one keeps us out of the moment and going inside to find those amazing things that do that simple thing to put a smile on the face. My smile first, so that I know what it is that I have to give, that I'd like to live also for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, but as you tell me about it, it seems like you're experiencing a smile and a joy and laughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And in every breath, we give and receive. We receive and give. We inhale the oxygen that the trees and the plants provide. That's our plant medicine, as I like to call it. And then we exhale, and we're exhaling CO2, which then the plants use to feed them. So we're giving and receiving with every breath. And that keeps the flow of life through us. We're a channel for life to in this greater web of life.
And there's a quote that I haven't heard for a while, but it just showed up as you were talking. And there are 1,000 ways to kneel and touch the ground.
Kiss the ground. Yeah, that's Rumi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are hundreds of ways to be of service.
Unlimited.
Yeah. Okay. So so we're gonna switch to, if someone else has something you want to share, please do. And then otherwise, Pauline and I will explain the demo and the exercise, which people that are watching the recording can do on your own as a journaling or as an inquiry exercise.
All right, yeah, so here I am for the demo, and I do have a slide just so that people can read along as we explain it. So you want me to go ahead and share that?
Please, please.
Okay, great.
So yeah, after the demo, we'll do a meditation, and then you'll be in a breakout room with a partner in a dyad. And yeah. So Pauline, do you want to explain it? I'll catch my breath. I've been talking a lot.
Happy to. Yes.
Thank you.
And for this exercise, as Yosi mentioned, you'll be put into breakout rooms right after we do a group meditation. There will also be a 5-minute break when you get to the breakout rooms, so you can take a moment for whatever you need. And then when you come back from that little break, you're going to have a minute each to introduce yourselves. And then you get to decide who wants to be in which role first, because you're going to repeat this process 2 times. And then whoever is the question asker first is going to ask your partner, tell me something you love. So Yosi, would you like to demo as I go through this explanation?
Sure, we could do it. So yeah, tell me someone or something you love, and it could be anything, as the slide shows. It could be your cat, your job, your cause, your spiritual path, your partner, your children, whatever it is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
If you want, you can be the person asking and I can demo the answering and we can just go through this.
sure, okay. Tell me someone or something you love.
I love nature.
Thank you. Tell me a way you could express your love in service of it.
I could spend time picking up trash as I go on my hike.
Thank you. Tell me another way you could express your love in service of it.
I could purchase goods from companies who are contributing to different charities in service of nature and our ecosystem.
Thank you. Tell me another way you could express your love in service of it.
I could hug and kiss some trees.
Thank you. Naming that, how do you feel?
I feel the word that came up was giddy. Like I'm just imagining being with my trees. I have a favorite spot I go to in nature. But there's also a sense when I think about like contributing my financial means towards these companies that are doing good, then there is this sense of interconnection. I'm not sure how long to go on for this one. Do you think people should take a bunch
Yeah,
of time
that's
or keep it shorter so they can keep going through it?
yeah, just kind of brief, but I think you're doing it great. So we'll go back to question one then. Tell me someone or something you love.
I love my spiritual path.
Thank you. Tell me a way you could express your love in service of it.
I could dedicate more time in my schedule for my meditation practice.
Thank you. Tell me another way you could express your love in service of it.
I could organize more community gatherings for my Sangha.
Thank you. Tell me another way you could express your love in service of it.
I could volunteer to help with the tech at our next retreat.
Thank you. Naming those, how do you feel?
I feel like a quiet activation in my heart. It feels like my posture even got a little taller just thinking about showing up to help run the sound system because there's a part of me that thinks, oh, it's a lot of work. But then when I think about that, I love this so much and I'm contributing, that's where I feel this upright, like heart opening.
Okay, good. So
So yeah,
now
we would just go through that for 8 minutes. So you might go through 3 or 4 different times, just depending on your own cadence. There's no pressure. And one thing I wanted to add, Yosi, was for step 2, it's
uh-huh.
okay if you don't ask exactly 3 times this tell me a way you could express your love in service of it. If you lose count and you do 2 times, 4 times, no problem. Or if the question answer doesn't have that many answers, you can say pass, and that's fine. Or you can even repeat an answer. So no pressure to maintain the exact 3 structure here.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. So, but then after you do that for 8 minutes, now you, Pauline, take 2 minutes to just, you have an integration monologue. So what are you experiencing and becoming aware of after you do this exploration of the things you love and the ways you could express it in service of them?
Yeah, and just for time, I'll do a shorter than 2-minute monologue, but
Yeah.
I actually am really feeling what you shared earlier about that sense of interconnection and the cell that needs to be connected to the greater body, because just this idea of being part, and when I actually feel that I'm taking part in something larger than myself, and it's something that I deeply care about, there's this sense of like merging in a beneficial way with the greater field of life and love.
Uh-huh.
That's a good snip of my monologue.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And then we would switch roles. So then I would be the questioner and I would go through all the questions with Yosi. Do you want to do that or do you want to skip that for time?
Let's skip it for time. And I already mentioned some of the things that I love and ways I try to be in service of it.
And does anyone have any questions about this dyad practice? And I got your note, Kathy, so thank you for that.
So you're going to tell us when to switch to the integration monologue?
Yeah, we'll give you a time.
Yeah, Yosi's voice will come over through the speaker in your breakout room. So he'll be letting you know when it's time to switch for each part. Great question. And if you're watching the recording, you can do this as a journal exercise, or you can find a friend and do it together. So whatever works for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna guide us through a meditation. It'll take about 15 minutes. And then we'll put you in the breakout rooms, and then you'll take a quick break. When you come back, you'll already be in your breakout room, and then you'll be able to start. So I'm gonna grab a chair here so I could sit, and I'll invite you to find a comfortable spot. Hey. So we'll begin by finding a comfortable seated position. Feet flat on the ground, connected to the center core of Mother Earth. Spine vertically aligned, supporting both relaxation and alertness. The spine is really the information superhighway of the body, connecting all the nervous system, the neurons from all the brains and the head, the heart, the gut, and all the wisdom of the body. And it also, the spine serves as an energetic channel connecting the crown top of the head, which is pointed at the cosmic realm and heavenly skies, the open, vast, unbounded space filled with stars and galaxies, and empty space above. And on the other end, through the pelvic floor, the legs, the feet, connected to Mother Earth. So just taking a couple of breaths, feeling the flow of energy up and down the spine on the inhale, on the exhale, letting the body sink in, sink deeper, feeling the weight of the body, which is the gravitational pull, the loving embrace of Mother Earth, pulling us into her center, while at the same time supporting us through the floor, through the ground, through the seat cushion, keeping us in place on her surface skin. Now, this body of ours is all made of earth elements, carbon, water, oxygen, all of which Mother Earth provides through the food we eat, the water we drink, the oxygen we breathe. So inhaling, drawing in that sustenance and support from the soil, drawing it up the feet, the legs, the pelvis, the spinal column, letting that energy, that nourishment circulate throughout the body. Slight pause at the crown top of the head, and then on the exhale, letting go. And dropping in, letting go of whatever excess tension we don't need, letting it compost back into the soil below. So at your own pace, you could take like 3 or 4 breaths like that, drawing in energy and support from the soil, bringing it up, and then exhale. You can make a nonverbal sound and exhale, a sigh. And letting the breath synchronize and harmonize with the breath of the earth. Entering a state of co-regulation with the earth, with Mother Earth. The earth has its own magnetic pulsing breath. And you can synchronize your breath with that. And now bringing attention to the other end of the spinal column, the crown top of the head, which is pointed at the heavenly skies and cosmic realm. The space, which is extending billions of light years, rapidly expanding at ever accelerating rate, containing billions upon billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. So we have this dark space, mostly seemingly empty, pervaded by starlight from trillions of stars. And in addition to the visible starlight, the dark space is pervaded by invisible light frequencies like ultraviolet, infrared, all of which are parts of the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is the echo of the bang that is reverberating throughout the cosmos. So we have this dark, empty space filled with visible and invisible primordial light. All of that is above us in this vast, open, unbounded space. And this dark, empty space is, in fact, filled with dark matter and dark energy, which, in fact, consists of 95% of the energy mass of the universe. But we don't see it because it doesn't interact with light, and it's uniformly distributed. So we don't feel its effect on our bodies. But what is amazing about this dark energy is that its density is uniform throughout space. And as space is rapidly stretching and expanding, that density remains the same, which means that more energy is being created literally out of nothing. So there's an ongoing, constant process of creation of new energy coming into existence in our cosmos, in our universe. So we have this energy and light and space above. So now on the inhale, you could draw in that energy, that light from above, bringing it down through the crown top of the head, filling the spinal column, the torso, letting it circulate through the limbs. And then on the exhale, returning back to the cosmic realm. So just a few more breaths at your own pace, drawing in energy and light, visible and invisible, primordial light from the space above, bringing it down, filling the body, sort of like a blessing from above, and then returning that back. And now, as we continue to draw in energy and light from the space above, let's also include drawing in energy and support from the earth below. So bringing these two streams of energy, one from above, one from below, and letting them intermingle throughout the body, particularly in the chest and heart area. And then on the exhale, returning them in both directions. So letting these two streams of energy intermingle, merging heaven and earth in the chest, in the heart. Letting ourselves, our bodies, serve as a bridge between heaven and earth, between the cosmic and the earthly realm. And as we continue to draw on these two streams of energy from above and below, letting them meet in the center of the chest, letting it expand there. Now, on the exhale, sending that energy forward through the front of the chest and heart. So continuing to breathe like this on your own for a couple breaths, drawing in from above and below, energy and support, and then exhale, sending that forward. And now on the next breath, exhaling towards the back of the heart. Drawing in energy and support and sustenance from above and below, letting them meet in the chest, the heart. Exhale towards the back. And now exhaling towards the left. And now exhaling towards the right. And now exhaling in all four directions. Drawing in from above and below, expanding the torso, the chest, and then spreading that energy, that light in all directions. And now simply breathing naturally, continuing to rest the awareness and the presence in the center of the chest, in and around the heart area, feeling the flow of the breath and sensing the heartbeat, the pulse, and noticing what's it like to just simply rest, rest in being, doing nothing. Feeling more relaxed, more alert, constricted, expanded, open, closed, just noticing, just allowing the totality of reality, including anything else that is in the field, body sensations, pressure, temperature, the sound of this voice, these words, any other sounds. Centering the attention in the center of the chest and heart area, but opening to include everything else. And allowing the eyes to open, and without going out, receiving the light, the colors, and the shapes, along with everything else. And if you can or care to, you can type into the chat just a few words or phrases about your experience in this moment. Let someone peaceful open. I'm feeling relaxed, flowing, and kind of floating as well. Okay, so energized, awake. So yeah, it's an interesting blend of aliveness and relaxation that can happen as we draw on these two energies of heaven and earth, and then move it throughout our body, circulate it, and expand it in all directions. So it's both a physical thing, but also a metaphor for how we can be. Okay, so we're gonna put you into breakout rooms. And then take a, a little break. So combined it would be 10 minutes. So it's 31 minutes after the hour one now, and 41 minutes after the hour, whatever time zone you're in, I'm not sure, we will begin the dyads. So Pauline, are you doing the breakout rooms?
Let me go ahead and pause the recording, and we'll see the recording people back in an instant.
Spotlight me, so that's what.
I think you already are spotlight. Let me make sure that's the case, though. It's not letting me do that. Here we go. Okay, so welcome back for the break from the breakouts, everyone.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what did you all discover? How was this exercise practice for you? And I'm impressed, Marco, you're still awake?
The meditation did its part.
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't know if I was meditating or sleeping, so we'll stay there.
Okay. You went into deep relaxation.
Yeah, let's call it like that. That's good.
But somehow you heard when I invited you to open your eyes. So something
Yeah,
stayed
no,
awake.
I was not totally gone, but it literally revived me. So
Okay. Anyway, good. I'm glad that served you.
so maybe I can share. You
Please.
asked for. It's interesting because as it is with me most of the times, when I think about service, I think about the big thing. And what I take out of what you shared tonight and the exercise also, thank you, Nancy, and for guiding me so beautifully through it, is that it's about little things. And so it's about, yeah, the little things in being in service. And
Can you
on
give
top,
some examples that came up for you as little things?
yes, absolutely. For example, it's like being in service to my father, and to his path and his journey, which is always very conflictual for himself, and just, yeah, just letting it go. But it's things, it's things I know, but it's things I would rather be. I approach it mostly with a goal in my head. And it's like, okay, I'm just of service. I'm just and that's how it evolves now. And it's this credit I can give myself for it. That's actually what I get out of the exercise most. The giving myself credit for that, because that's what I do. I love to be there for them, for the story. When I bought this house 15 years ago, we always said we were 200 meters away from them. We always said we'll buy that house to be close to them when they are getting old, and now they are old. And we can be of service, and it's a beautiful thing, but I don't see it as service. So tonight it really shows me that, yeah, that is already being of service. So I can't stop bashing myself up thinking I'm not in service. In essence, it's what I get out of it.
And so when you recognize that that is of service, how does that affect you?
Grateful and a deep peace, because it's yeah, it's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge accomplishment for both of us to be there. Not going into all the details, but so yeah, it's a great yeah, great happiness.
Okay. But in a way, I'm almost sensing like you're touched or moved in your voice, or something about recognizing that touches you. Is that my imagination, or is that?
No, it's the story of my father and me were a story of a lot of hate and anger and conflict, and being today granted an experience of having found a way to love each other. It's just beautiful. And then, like, I just give that example, like this morning he calls me, had a terrible night, was in all his dramas, and the whole night calls me up at 7 o'clock telling me it didn't make sense, so stressed he was. And then he talked about, I need to go to my psychologist today. And I said, and he doesn't ask. So I said, you want me to drive you? Yeah, because I cannot drive. I will make an accident. I said, okay, well, I have time this morning, so I can drive you. And it's just so, it's heartwarming that he comes to me, because after everything we went through, and it's heartwarming that I can do it. So it's like, and I know that, but that is service. But interestingly enough, I didn't take it as service to me, because it feels good, but also to him. So it's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's heartwarming. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else care to share?
I'll share. Mine is maybe a sort of a flipped journey from the one that Marco was speaking of, that I was always the one in the background doing those little things of service, but the response that came to that wasn't often not predictable, because when I'd see someone and see a need and something I knew they'd want if they knew they needed it, and I'd just offer some little something, if my timing was off, all of a sudden they want, it was like, you're bothering me, I'm busy, or, but at the same time, I never stopped doing it, because it's the beauty we see. I cannot not tend something that's beautiful to me. And so in my dysfunctional family, normal dysfunctional family, everybody got their own thing going. This is the Western world. But I had this deep connection with nature. And the way it sort of played out was that, like, let's say it's gift time, maybe it's Christmas or somebody's birthday. What am I going to buy for them? They give me things that are useless to me, but I don't know how to tell them what I want, and they wouldn't value it, so they probably wouldn't give it to me. But I developed this way where I would go shopping, and I would come home empty-handed, and It happened so many times. I don't remember how many years went by, and I figured it out. I could not buy a gift for someone unless I truly loved it and believed they would love it too. And that's how I kept those difficult relationship channels open. And I didn't wait for Christmas. I gave it to them when I bought it. So it could be of service to them right away. So inspired, just inspired connection, how those little things make a difference. They made a difference for me. And, you know, when my mom was passing, she finally made a difference for her. That I moved, sold my house, relocated so I could be with her to do hospice so she could go in peace. She told me for years she wanted to pass in peace, but she had so much anger and resentment in there. She was fighting and it wasn't happening. She was 92 years old. I said, Mom, I'm coming. No, you can't do that. I said, yes, I can. I said, I'm going to tell you why I'm coming. You want to go in peace? You did right. That's what you've been saying. Well, yeah. I said, okay. There's a lot of little things I can do to bring you peace. You won't understand any of them. It's okay. But that's what I'm going to do. Is that okay with you? Well, yeah. And so when I came, I repeated my story to her. And the interesting thing, after some weeks went by, I do lots of I live a very holistic health style, I'll call it. And she always would disallow me or make comments about what a fool I was. But I was doing all these little things for her. And it was amazing because she was getting better. And finally she's saying to me, I know you're not going to believe me, but all those little things. Oh, I'm so grateful for those little things you're doing. And it just was, yeah, it was very touching for her to do that. And she finally heard me. She finally let me do something for her that she really couldn't. She was so tired and out of sorts. It was hard for her to tie her shoes, but she wouldn't allow me to do it. So I said, Mom, if you you got a little bit of energy left. And there might be something else that you'd really like to do with that little bit of energy you've got. Why don't you let me do that? And then you can figure out how you want to use the energies that you've got. Would that be okay? Oh, okay.
So what you're experiencing a lot of delight right now, or joy, I see, as remembering it.
I delight at helping finding simple things that make a difference to people enjoying the moment.
Yeah. So you found delight in helping people enjoy the moment. So you made a
Yes.
contribution and it was delightful for them and enjoyable for them.
Yeah, and then we had the light created was shared. It's a very regenerative practice.
Regenerative. Yeah. Okay. So it was shared and it's regenerative. Beautiful. Yeah. Anybody else care to share? Bruce, are you speaking? You might need to unmute.
There.
There.
Yes. Usually, as a spiritual therapist, I'm very much on my own in my work. So, lo and behold, along call comes dear Pauline to join me, and we had a lovely conversation. And it was so heartwarming to be a part of a fellowship in doing this. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, heartwarming. Can you say a little more? What about it was heartwarming? I mean,
Well,
connection and support is part of it, partnership, companionship, I'm hearing.
it takes a lot of energy to do the deeper work. And then to find a lovely friend who's also doing that work,
Uh-huh.
it brings more energy, more fellowship, more creativity, more grace, more blessings. Wonderful. Thank you.
More grace, more blessings. Yeah. Thank you. And anything that you discovered about yourself, what you love to do, and how you could be of service of those things you love. And
Well, at my old age, I'm used to a lot of blessings, but it's just wonderful to discover a new friend. Wow, thank you.
Okay, beautiful. A lot of gratitude here.
Indeed.
A lot of gratitude. We'll come back to gratitude in 1 minute, but before we do, I'm curious if anybody else has anything to say. And if you want to be quiet and just type into the chat, that's also fine.
I have a sort of a confession to make, Yosi. When the first
Confession, okay.
this, I've come to several of these now. Makes me
Mhm.
want to go back and experience all of them. But what drew me was you called it SI intelligence. Well, for me, SI, I use those letters, but the acronym for that for me is sensory integration.
Sensitivity integration,
So
yeah.
I have in fact been on a really deep sensory integration journey because my entire system collapsed and I had to rewire myself. And the incredible thing that when we drop inside and connect with these subtler senses that, we only can go there even when it's quiet, right? There's not a lot of noise happening, that we just settle in, that they're like whole communication channels. And it's like having a team when they're all dancing and communicating in harmony, and what we're seeing and hearing and feeling and maybe even smelling, whether it's human or it's nature or whatever it is in the moment, that is like, it's like a web of information that's beyond what words can communicate.
Yeah,
It's
it's a web of life, and it's rich
exactly.
and multi-textured, and you have all this richness that we don't notice, and all of a sudden it opens up these realms.
Mm-hmm. And we
Yeah,
come into the world that way, but there are a few detours along the way to find our way back again. But it's so delightful to
well,
go. When we pass the midlife stage and we have a greater capacity to reflect back, it's so fascinating to me that if we look at experiences that pop up in our mind from those earlier decades, it's a completely different experience when they pass through the filter of these more subtle senses. We see the whole picture, not the aggravating thing that, took us off path or whatever that was, but we see other things that were simultaneously happening. And we suddenly realize cause and effect is an illusion. There's always multiple things happening at the same time that define and refine whatever it is I don't want to say looking at, because it might not come through that channel, whatever channel it comes through. Is a different experience. It's more
yeah,
enlightening and enjoyable.
yeah. And right now there's more delight, and I'm hearing a lot of gratitude, just like Bruce expressed.
Yeah.
So speaking of gratitude, next month is November. The month of November is the month that we usually in North America here celebrate Thanksgiving. So we just, Pauline suggested, I thought it was a great idea that our next event in November will be about gratitude. So it's Friday, November 15th, same time, same place. And I'm grateful for your showing up today and contributing to the field, and your presence, your comments, and your contribution. And if you are inclined, would love to see you in November. And we will be exploring gratitude, for all the things that the many blessings we have. And I think one of the blessings we have is the ability to be grateful. So first we get first level blessing of whatever it is that we enjoy. And then just the capacity to be aware of gratitude is its own blessing. And then if we really go deep into gratitude, we start to see the hidden blessings in our so-called misfortune and difficulties. And we lose a job or something, and we think, oh my God, that's terrible. And then somehow we find the hidden blessing in that. So we'll explore the many blessings of gratitude and how to deepen our gratitude. And as they say, it's not that we're grateful when we're happy, but when we practice gratitude, we're happier. So, thank you. I'm grateful again for your presence, your being, your desire to deepen, to grow, to contribute to yourself and to the world at large, to the web of life. Any parting words, 3 words of your current experience, if you want to either unmute yourself and shout them out or type them into the chat. What's alive, what's moving in this moment, in you and around you and through you? What is life revealing? What is the mystery revealing through your particular face, through your particular being?
Thank you for holding this space. It was beautiful. I really loved it. And we'll see. Hopefully I can make it next time.
Thank you for staying up late, this late.
On earth, peace, goodwill unto all.
What was that again? Earth, peace, goodwill to all? Thank you for that goodwill. And thank you, Kathy, as well, for participating in the way that works for you and contributing. Okay, we will see you, and many blessings on your day and your weekend and the days ahead.